College classic. What'd you say, Andrew Womack classic hit? No, you didn't say Andrew. No, you didn't. But you did say college classic campus hits, though, didn't you? I was listening. Let me ask you a question. In your life, have you ever been in a situation where somebody says, been there, done that, talk to the hand? Well, if you have, I'm wondering if you would share this with me. Or maybe we'll share this together. One of those situations where you say to yourself, Lord God Almighty, suffice us. Amen. What would Jesus do? College classic? You didn't, TC, you didn't. What we're going to do is, we're going to read this Charles M. Sheldon's classic, In His Steps, Retold for Children, revised by Helen Hadel. It's illustrated by Kip Richmond, and it's called What Would Jesus Do? Now, these books, they're... Yeah, I know. They're for children. Well, Pastor Chuck Smith did a wonderful children's book before he left us, and many other books even before that. And I thought that we could do a little bit of college classic campus hits and some books here. We got the Table of Contents, chapter chapter 1, Continents, Picnic Stranger. Well, you know what? Each candlestick actually has a stranger. They don't know who it is. But you know, the first of the 7 candlesticks, the first 5 don't know Jesus the way the 6th one's supposed to. Alright? You're it, Claire laughed, tagging Bill on the shoulder. Not for long, Bill yelled as he chased her. Claire dashed around the picnic tables, her long curls flying. Giggles and laughter filled the air as the children played tag in the field beside the church. It was the Bible school summer picnic. Everyone from Pine Ridge had gathered in the courtyard. You know what's funny is that when we used to play that, there were rocks in the back of our church, and then a great big field that we weren't allowed to go back to because there were dead cats back there. And when I was growing up, dead cats were a big thing, you know. The phenomenon over there, the cats are dead. There's an alcoholic over there. His name was Mr. Son, and he had a squirrel monkey. And the squirrel monkey's name was Mr. Candy. I'll tell you the story about Mr. Candy later because he's a squirrel monkey and he do all kinds of tricks. Mr. Candy. So, we used to play this game in the back of Bell Baptist Church in the city of Cudahy. And a lot of times I wasn't good at running. You know, these guys, they skid in the rock. Oh, man, wow, did you see that? You see what he did? But me, I didn't have those kind of feet, you know, where you could scrape the side of it and pop back up and take off running, you know. I didn't have that in me. And some of these little short guys, they did. You think, wow, man, he did that really neat. He slid right underneath my feet when I was going to catch him. And then next thing you know, you're falling on the ground and they're running away laughing at you. Ah, Chris is it. Chris is it. You're still it. You've been it for 3 hours now. You were it before church started, and now you're still it after church. So, God, you're it. And I used to get so angry. I don't want to play no more. Why? Because you're it. You're still going to be it when we come back to church next week. You're going to be it. I see Charles Hackley and all the other guys, and I just look at them. Oh, I can't stand Charles Hackley. Today, I love him very much. Men roasted chickens over the fire pit while ladies sliced strawberry pie and prepared salads. Several older girls gathered bouquets of wildflowers and took care of the toddlers in the field behind the church. Young men organized a game of softball. We never got to play that because we were too young. You see all the older guys running around inside of the big church. Well, not the big church, but the teenage church. We weren't teenagers yet. We didn't get to do all that. Oh, I couldn't stand them. Hear them in there laughing, making all kinds of noises. When they walk in there, you can hear their tennis shoes or their dress-up shoes scratching the wooden floor. You sound like somebody had the hiccup. Lunch will be ready soon, Parson Henry said to the children. If you go into the woods, be sure to listen for our call. Well, at my church, they wouldn't let you get too far. You stay nearby. You don't. Mr. Candu will get you. Mr. Candu and Mr. Sun. Claire ran over and gave him a quick hug. I'll come when you call, Papa, she said with a smile. Come on, hollered Bill. Come on. Let's hunt for pine cones. Oh, I love pine cones. We used to paint them. All the boys and girls scampered into the woods except for Claire and Bill, who stopped to grab a bucket for their cones. When Claire ran toward the edge of the woods, she caught sight of a dirty-faced boy running down the road in front of the church. Bill, who is that boy? Asked Claire. I've never seen him before, said Bill. But he looks like he's crying. Claire and Bill ducked behind the bushes so the boy wouldn't see them. They watched him hurry across the field toward the churchyard. Listen, Claire whispered to Bill. He's talking to himself. The dirty-faced boy prayed out loud as he walked. Dear Jesus, please show me someone who will help me just as you would if you were here. What would you do? Excuse me. That reminds me of a boy. I was in a Muslim chat room, and there was a boy in there, and he wanted to talk about Muslims and Christianity. And I said, okay, let's do that. And he asked me, what do you think about Muslims? I said, I hardly know them. And I lived in an Islamic community at the time. And he said, do you like them? I said, well, I don't really know them that well to make that kind of a... But everyone doesn't like them or their religion. I said, well, I don't know enough about it. I know that the word Allah means God, right? And he said, yes. I said, and Isa means Jesus, right? And he said, yes. I said, let me ask you something. If Allah means God in Arabic, or in that language, and Eli means God in Yeshua means God in Hebrew, then and Eli, what Eli is in Latin, then God in American is God. And if there's a true God up there, and we know there is, wouldn't he answer to all those names? Excuse me. Claire and Bill saw the boy walk up to the men who were slicing the roasted chicken. Can you please help me? He asked. My hands are all scraped up and my friend needs help. We're busy fixing the meat, said one of the men. Go ask the ladies. The boy went over to the picnic tables and held up his scraped and dirty hands. Could you please help me? He asked. And I have a friend who needs help. Wah, wah, cried a toddler who had fallen into a mud puddle. We're sorry, said a lady who was holding a pair of twins. Our little ones need to be washed and fed right now. Please run along until later, said another woman carrying a tiny baby. Everyone is so busy. Bill said to Claire, they don't understand that boy needs help. What would you have done if you were there? Somebody needs to help him, said Claire. Should we? We don't even know him, said Bill. Besides, we're too young to help. Do you think that you are too young to help others? That's a good question. So, what would you do? Would you, like, spiritually toss them out of the house? Or would you do what God does and just lift them up and shoot them up? Whoa. Do you think that you are too young to help others? Why or why not comes to mind. Well, these are all good questions, and there's just so much more, babe. So much more. Don't tell your neighbor to come back tomorrow if you can help today. There's a parable or a story Jesus tells about this man who goes knocking in the wee hour. And now remember, in those days, they went to bed early. For us, 8 o'clock, when the sun goes down, it's bedtime. Okay? But in those days, when the sun was going down, you'd have 3 meals and so forth and so on, and you'd eat. But today, we don't go to bed till 10, or it's 10:13 right now. And I'm recording college classic campus. No! The problem. The dirty-faced stranger ran over to the boys playing ball, but they were in the middle of a game and didn't have time for him. He walked to a tree stump nearby and sat on it. Tears rolled down his cheeks. Claire peeked out from behind a tree. Nobody will listen to him, she whispered to Bill. Shh, Bill said. He cocked his head toward the woods. The sound of children singing a happy song could be heard through the trees. Where are we getting at with this? What's going on here? We have decided to follow Jesus. We have decided to follow We have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. You ever listen to that Cloud of Hope? They do that song. They do it really good. That Jim Moreno. Ooh, Jim Moreno. And so they're singing this song. And lunch is ready, called Parsons Henry, and boys and girls ran out of the woods carrying their pine cones, but Claire and Bill stayed behind the tree, and they took another look at the young stranger. So this guy, he's very dirty, whispered Claire, and his clothes are ripped. What do you think happened? Oh, what do you suppose, huh? He looks hurt, Bill said quietly. And Claire looked at the crowd gathering around the picnic table full of food. Parson Henry called toward the woods. Claire, please come. It's time to eat. Daddy's calling me. I better go, she said. Let's run, said Bill. I don't want to be at the end of the line. As they ran past the dirty-faced boy, he called to them, please wait. Bill and Claire stopped and looked back at the boy. I heard someone singing about Jesus, he said. Do you know Jesus? Yes, they nodded their heads. I know Jesus too. I wondered if the people at the picnic know Jesus. If they do, why didn't they help me? I only wanted some water for my scratched hands and some help from my friend who was in trouble. Claire was silent. She didn't know what to say. Neither did Bill. You get a lot of people doing that today when it comes to homeless people. They say, I'm hungry, can you give me some money? And then you say, wait a minute, I thought you were a Christian, when you tell them no. See, Jesus Christ doesn't say to give people money. Jesus Christ says to help people, not to give them money. He says if someone's hungry, feed them. And suddenly a dog barked in the distance. The boy stood up quickly. That's Murphy, he said. I need to get back to my friend. Then he turned and ran back to the road. Obviously, there's some serious trouble, and no one wants to help. What do you think Jesus wants you to do for other people in your family, your school, and your neighborhood? Jesus said, whatever you want men to do to you, do also to them in Matthew 7:12. Let me ask you a question. And this is just a very simple question. Do you think that